Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson, and this is the next in a series of position group breakdowns. As we get closer and closer to the kickoff of Texas Tech's 2021 season, we've talked quarterbacks, we've talked defensive line. Now I'm going to talk about running backs, and this is in a sneaky way, become one of the deepest position groups on Texas Tech's roster. And I say sneaky just because, we hear a lot about linebackers, which I'm going to talk about next, by the way, after this video. We hear a lot about, they've improved the quarterback room. Look at all these big receivers they have. But we don't really, at least I haven't seen a lot of people talk about just how deep the running back position room, has become. And, DeAndre Smith, the position coach, has done a really good job recruiting there. Just in talking with recruits, I just get the sense, and I talked with Coach Smith here just, in the last week or so about his room and recruiting and everything, but I get the sense from recruits, the feedback, that they just really like what he's selling, for lack of a better term, or his message to them. He has a very, if you meet Coach DeAndre Smith, who's the father of quarterback Donovan Smith, by the way, he has kind of a easygoing way about him. Now, I've seen him on the practice field really get after guys, so don't get me wrong, he has that in his arsenal as well. But he had just a really, it's easy to talk with him, is what I'm trying to express. He's just a very personable person, a very likable guy, and obviously that helps in sales or recruiting or, anything like that. And then, so I feel like they've recruited guys that are better than what Tech normally does. They might get like a stud here or there, but not consistently. They've been able to land guys both through the high school ranks and the transfer portal that are really impressive. Cameron Valdez, he's already impressing as a true freshman in fall camp. Bryson Donnelly got off to his season just kicking butt there at Tyler Legacy. Had a really good game. So the future is bright. But in terms of what they have in the room right now, you look at a guy who was a holdover from the previous regime. He was a diamond in the rough in Sir Thompson, and he's a guy that, as soon as I saw him step on campus, I was impressed. I really liked his film through the recruiting process. It was kind of one of those head scratchers of why he wasn't getting more attention. But basically, since he stepped on campus, Sir has been an explosive player. The only thing that's really held him back has been injuries, sometimes minor. And then here recently, he had a major shoulder injury right at the end of spring, and it was a freak deal where there wasn't much contact at all. But it required surgery. He's been out, and he's been going through drills. He's been at every practice that I've been at in fall camp. But he just no contact. And then I know that at some point, the last time I talked with Coach Wells, they were still waiting on an X-ray to see is he going to be able to go in the opener or not? And so at this point, I don't know if he's going to go in the opener. It sounds like he hadn't had any setbacks. They're getting him ready to go in terms of the scheme and running through all the drills and running through the offense, but they just don't know if he's going to be ready for the opener. It sounds like it's going to be sooner rather than later. So I'm no doctor, but just by what they're telling us, I would expect him to be, if not ready for the season opener, then probably the Big 12 opener, 4 games into the season, which is against Texas and Austin. So, Sir is, in my opinion, one of the better running backs in the Big 12 when he is healthy. He's very good between the tackles. He's explosive. He's ripped off, just big runs, long runs. Speaking of Texas, he had that 75-yard run last year, but he's consistently ripped off explosive plays, no matter the opponent. In his career, like I said, it's just a matter of him staying healthy. And then behind him, Taj Brooks is the heir apparent in terms of the next guy up. I think he's going to be the starter, assuming Sir can't go. And maybe at this point, even if Sir can go, Taj Brooks will probably get the bulk of the carries. He's in his second year. He had a good true freshman year. He really shined in that West Virginia game, helped carry the Red Raiders to a big win by him moving the chains late when everybody in the stadium knew Tech was going to run the ball. He was still able to. He's when you see him, he has all the tools where you're like, okay, this guy's a good runner, in terms of vision, the way he's able to break tackles. He has some elusiveness. I wouldn't necessarily call him like a juke stick kind of guy, but he will shake some guys. He consistently makes the first guy miss. And then he's a good receiver out of the backfield. And Coach DeAndre Smith told me that he is by far the best pass blocking running back they have on the roster. So he checks all the boxes, as I like to say. He's a very good player, all around running back. But then they have more. I mean, Chadarius Townsend is a former 4-star guy, transferred in from Alabama. This is his second year here at Tech. He's put on some weight, good weight. He's up to like 220 pounds. Still one of the fastest guys on the team. He's a versatile player. He can run between the tackles, but he's also a good receiver out of the backfield. So I look for them to use him in that manner. And then there's Xavier White, local product here, who ended up transferring in, walking on, earned a scholarship, and now he's in the rotation at running back, and he's a good player. He's also put on some weight. I talked to him before the season. He's ready to go. He's 100% healthy. And he's a guy that when just like Sir Roderick, if he can stay healthy, I mean, he's been effective. Whether it be an inside receiver or running back, when given the ball, when given an opportunity to play, when given those reps, he produces. So the one thing I like to see from him is so he can protect himself, and we talked about this, was not run so upright. I mean, there's only a couple guys in the history of football who can get away with that. I immediately flashed to Eric Dickerson, but he was unique. He's one of the all-time greats. So I don't know how many people can get away with running with that style and take the kind of licks that Xavier took at running back, despite being productive, and hold up. So he said Sir Roderick's really helped him kind of learn how to take hits and stuff like that. But then again, Sir Roderick needs to stay healthy too. So we'll have to see. And then I mentioned Cameron Valdez, the true freshman. I mean, look, in the first scrimmage, which was closed, Coach Wills said he ripped off a long run, had a really long run, and then he looked really good in the open scrimmage, the Fandemonium scrimmage. He took a little 3-yard drop-off pass, broke 3 or 4 tackles, and turned it into a 12-yard reception and moved the chains. And then he had another good run where it was 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1, and they needed it, and they knew they were running, and he broke at least 1 or 2 tackles and was able to, he had that nose for the first down marker, was able to stretch the ball across and get his body across to pick up that first down. So those are good signs. You really like him. And then they're not done yet. They got Kyron Cumbie, who was a guy that they offered out of high school a couple years back. But then when Taj Brooks committed, it wasn't a committable offer anymore. He ends up going to Illinois. Now he's transferred back, and he's walked on. But, he's more of a scat back, 5'9", 5'9"-ish, 180 pounds. But he's a legitimate Division I running back who can do a lot of things. And I think the key word for this backfield, beyond just depth, is versatility. All these guys are being asked to do a lot of things. They're going to be moved around the formation. They're not just going to be in a one-back set and 11 personnel like we saw almost exclusively last year. There's going to be some 2-back sets. They're going to line up in the slot some. They're going to go even out wide in the formation some, and they're going to get screens that way. They're going to get handoffs on jet sweeps that way. They're going to do some creative things with Sonny Cumbie, and so these running backs are going to have to be versatile. They're going to have to be able to to do everything: pass pro, be very good receivers, and then of course run between the tackles. So I'm excited about this room. I think they're going to do good things. I love that they have options. Mighty Joe and I talked about this many times. We feel like, he brought it up first, and I agree with him. He feels like you have to have 4 legitimate Power 5 backs to make it through a Power 5 schedule. And Tech has that. I agree with that, and they have that. They may have more than that. So that's the first time I can say that. They've had some really good ones, like DeAndre Washington comes to mind in the time I've been here. But in terms of having that kind of depth, they haven't had it. So I hope Sir Roger can get healthy, because I think they'll be just that much better because of it. But if not, they still have a lot of depth and some really good players. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.